If a member of law enforcement ever asks you if there's anything illegal in the car, any drugs in the car, anything I should know about, any blah, 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 and you answer with, not that I know of, they know that you are lying and they will immediately try to find a way to search your car. We are the Arms Attorneys. Today we were talking about what happens when you go through an internal border checkpoint and you've got guns. Stick around. We're going to talk about what sort of levels we have so that they can search your vehicles, what kind of questions you have to answer, and finally, who might get in trouble. But before we get started, show your support for the Second Amendment by hitting the like button.
And, this is a question that's come up kind of a lot recently. It seems like there might be a ramp up in immigration policy here in the United States. I don't know, anecdotal. But I've gotten a lot of questions about, hey, we have all these internal border checkpoints. The Customs and Border Patrol, they have this kind of 100-mile barrier among the border states where they set up. These aren't crossing into Mexico into the United States or vice versa. These are 100% inside of the United States. And I think I don't know where the rumor is, and I haven't seen it, but people seem to be under the impression that, oh, this is a federal facility, or this is a federal land, or, hey, the feds have extra rights here and it might interfere with my right to keep and bear arms. So what's going on with that? But, we have this map. We'll throw that up for a second. But I think we can all take a big step back and say, it's going to be okay.
It's going to be okay. I don't even think there has to be a rumor. I mean, you've gone through an internal border checkpoint.
Yes.
I've gone through an internal border checkpoint. Like, there's something that makes your butthole tighten up about it. I don't know, for me at least. So
Sure.
I get it. I'm not doing anything wrong, but I'm just like, oh. So I get it.
It's like walking out of the grocery store when you don't buy anything.
What?
It makes me nervous. You go into a convenience store, you don't find the thing you need, and you walk out, and you're like, oh gosh, I hope they don't think I'm. Anybody else? Is this just me?
All right.
I have too much anxiety.
So, so I get it. I get it. So, first, let's say if you are crossing the border, right? No guns.
Yeah.
The panicked phone calls I've gotten from people being detained in Mexico or Canada. Although I will say, if I had to pick one, I would much rather be detained in Canada with a gun.
Sure.
Because the agents are much nicer because I've spoken to them. And they're just like, oh yeah, sure enough. Well,
How about that?
Yeah, pretty much. But they're still going to detain you, and they're still going to, take your guns and fine you and not release you back into Canada. But in Mexico, it's like, they say if I can pay them $70,000 right now, they let me go, but they are going to keep my truck. And it's like, can you pay the man?
Right.
It's really, 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 really bad and really scary. So don't do that, right? But when you are remaining within the United States, you just got to obey the law of that state.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll say that's the overriding theme number one. The law of the state that you're located in, and federal law when it comes to prohibited person stuff, that's going to apply potentially. But all right, if it's legal for you to have a gun on your vehicle, you're at an internal border checkpoint, let's say here in the state of Texas, you shouldn't have any problems. And what's taking place at these checkpoints? Well, there are two things. They're trying to verify immigration status. And second, they're conducting exterior inspections of your vehicle to see if there's anything suspicious.
Yeah. And you see the cute puppies roaming around? They're not cute puppies.
No, these are drug sniffing dogs. And so, all right, what does a typical interaction look like? And there's a bunch of videos on YouTube. You can go check this out of people who, I refuse to answer questions, all these things. And that's fine. Absolutely. Go nuts. Are you required to be compelled to talk to law enforcement? Absolutely not. It's going to make your stay there a little bit longer. And so it's up to you. Risk assessment. How do you want this to go? So what I'll say a typical interaction looks like, I'm not saying that this is advisable or that you should do this or shouldn't do this, but it's, hey, are you a U.S. citizen? Yes. All right. Good to go.
Yeah.
I'll say that's probably how 98%.
Anything illegal in the car.
Yeah, they might ask that. They shouldn't be asking additional questions. Or if they are asking things beyond, are you a U.S. citizen? I would probably go to, I don't answer questions. What about you?
Now, personally, in this particular situation where I'm driving through a border checkpoint and it is completely within the state of Texas and I know I'm not doing anything wrong, I'm going to sing like a canary. I'm going to answer everything they want. Everything they want. Except probably if they asked about guns in the car. I don't think I'd answer because that's none of their business.
Yeah.
But if they're anything illegal in the car, I'm going to say no. U.S. citizen? Yes. Anybody else in the car I can't see? No, sir. I just want to get to South Padre Island. and start and drink a margarita. So just
Sure.
let me through.
Well, and I'll add the one caveat with they call this the slippery slope of, hey, I'm not doing anything wrong, where it's like, anything illegal in the car? Nope. No dead bodies? Ha ha ha. Nope. All right, no cocaine? Nope. All right, so you don't have any dead bodies or cocaine, obviously you're good with us looking at it. And then
Yeah, right. You're
and
gonna be
then
like, well, no, get out of here.
right.
Oh, I will say, can we just sidebar real fast?
Sure.
Because this is very important. Because I see this on those like body cam videos that I watch on YouTube all the time. If a member of law enforcement ever asks you if there's anything illegal in the car, any drugs in the car, anything I should know about, any blah, 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 and you answer with, not that I know of, they know that you are lying and they will immediately try to find a way to search your car. Just say the word no.
Yeah.
Because they know when you're like, not that I'm aware of, like that is a dead ring. I have never, ever, ever, when I was a prosecutor or as a defense attorney, seen someone use that answer when they did not have a car packed full of illegal shit. So just say no. Even if you're like, just say no.
Yeah. So
Come on.
all right.
All right. Sidebar over.
So from their questions, U.S. citizen, maybe they ask other stuff. I wouldn't answer questions. It's
That's
up
fair.
to you.
Fair. Depends on how badly you want the margarita.
They say, all right, we either have reasonable suspicion that this person is committing a crime. Well, then it turns into something completely different. The detention gets extended. If you don't answer those questions, they'll move you to a secondary screening for, a more thorough inspection on the exterior vehicle, probably involving a dog. If you don't have drugs in your car, all this stuff doesn't really matter. If you don't have illegal contraband or anything like that, you're legally possessing firearms, you're not going to have any problems here. But
Yeah.
all right, answering
Well, let's address, because I think people are probably wondering this.
Yeah.
Why don't the laws of reasonable suspicion kick in before they stop you at the checkpoint? Why don't they have to have reasonable suspicion to stop you at all?
So the Supreme Court has upheld these checkpoints.
Sorry, not to jump on you, but and not saying this is correct, although I do like having a secure border. There are just times where the Supreme Court, the law of the land as it sits in 2025 is you waive some of those constitutional rights in the face of national security.
Yeah.
It happens in lots of different areas.
Again, not saying that's the way we want the world to be, but the short answer to that is the court has upheld these things.
Yeah, but also I like border security, so it's a tough balance.
Sure.
Right? So,
But all right, maybe they ask a question going back to this checkpoint. Are you a citizen? Do you have any guns in the car? I think it's fair to say, hey, don't answer questions. But and I'll say that's where people have that panic mode. Hey, am I going to get in trouble for taking this through? There's something federal related here. We know that federal stuff and guns don't mix. I'm going to get in trouble for this. As long as the guns are lawfully possessed under the state law in the state that you're located in, you're not going to have any problems.
Right, exactly. So, do we want to go through probable cause?
Yeah, probably a good idea.
Yeah, because if they want to search that vehicle, Richard mentioned earlier, your consent, never consent. I don't care if you're not doing anything wrong, never consent. But if you do not consent, they still, even at a border checkpoint, must have probable cause.
Yeah, and so probable cause is when the police can articulate based on reliable and trustworthy information that a crime is in the process of, or is about to happen. Mm-hmm. And so if the police can articulate that, if they have their probable cause,
right. And that there's evidence of said crime, if they want to search, there's evidence in the car.
Right. That would confirm or deny whether that happened. Yes, that's exactly right. And so, let's say they see something on the exterior vehicle that looks illegal, or they plain view see something. Maybe
they smell marijuana.
Yeah, maybe they take you to that secondary screening. Drug dogs detect something. That's when the police will be able to search the vehicle. And do they need to get a warrant? The courts have said no.
Right, exactly. It is just, that's our Carroll exception. It lives. Should it? No, it should not, because we live in a much different world now than when search warrants took a really, really, really long time to obtain. Now, I would say, take the risk, state. Take the risk, government. Go get your warrant. It's fast. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah, so, all right, back to firearm just for a moment. Again, if the firearm is seized in connection with some other criminal activity, maybe that's a crime under your state's law. That's really where maybe firearms get implicated again.
Yeah.
Can the police,
if someone is not allowed to, if they can figure that someone in there is not allowed to possess,
right, that
person's going to be in trouble.
Yeah. So let's say you have someone who's not lawfully present in the United States. They entered illegally, they came in legally, but were overstayed their visa or something like that. If that person is possessing a firearm, they're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah. That girl who drove her boyfriend over the border.
I saw that.
You saw that video?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had cheated on her or something. Not saying that, not assigning any moral values to any of this, but and so she told him they were going somewhere, and he took a nap in the car, and she drove him to the border, and he wasn't in he had overstayed his visa.
Okay.
That's a way to break up.
That's a wake up.
Sure enough.
But that's all to say, and I think this is, just to answer that question. I know people are trying to figure out the answer to this stuff, especially with some changes in policy. Lawfully possessing firearms, you're not going to have any problems on this one. But we hope you enjoyed this discussion. If you did, consider subscribing, hitting that like button, and help us fight the anti-2A algorithm by sharing this video.
And as always, question and comment for us below. Until next time, we're the Armed Attorneys.